All right, all right, all right. It's that time once again, folks. It is the Tipping Point Morning Show. I've got myself, Mr. Just As Joe, as well as my brother from another mother, Brother John Ya, Esoteric Concepts. How you doing, family?
I'm good, bro. Peace. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. You ready to rock the show out today?
Yes, sir.
We got a good topic going on, man. Can't wait to get into it. So, right now, folks, remember, it is the Tipping Point Morning Show.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Ya. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. All right, it's man, I just enjoy playing with that. Folks, it is Saturday, October 8th, 2022. It's the only Saturday, October 8th, 2022 you're ever going to get, so make sure you make today a great day. I tell you, we've got a lot of national months today or something like that. Like, I think it's National Cancer Awareness Month or Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is Autistic Month as well, like National Autistic Awareness Month, I believe. And I think Autistic Awareness Month gets like 2 months out of the year. I don't know how they work that out. Hope y'all don't go protest over that. It's not a don't worry about that. It's okay. And then I think it's is it National Abuse Awareness Month too? I think. So it's a lot of stuff going on. I feel like these are, I don't know. I feel like in our country we do a lot of things to create ways for money to circulate. But it's good to bring awareness to these things, because outside of that, then people don't really kind of think about it. I don't know. How about you, man? What you think about this stuff?
We need a National Awareness Month, or maybe even 2 or 3 months on the condition of black men in this country killing each other, specifically in Louisville. And I think we need to really focus on who's raising these young men and how they've been raised and whose homes are they coming out of. And most of these men, you will find they were raised by single women. Yeah. And this is not a shade at throwing at any woman, but our problem with these young men today, they didn't have fathers and they're raised by women. Yeah. So there's something going on here. Even when you look at the men, when you look at men who have a disrespect or disregard for women, they were raised by a woman. I mean, there is no man in the presence of this young man's life. And I think that should be a national awareness month. Let me give you an example. It's very interesting. You can be in a barbershop and you can tell if you're sitting around. I'm sure you've been in a barbershop and you've seen where a lady brought her son in. And he's in the chair screaming and kicking, right? And we was just all the right, and the barber's trying to calm him down. What that says is he doesn't have a father, because had he had a daddy and his father was taking him to the barbershop to get his haircut done, the little boy would be like, man, I want to do that too. I want to get my haircut. He wouldn't be in the chair screaming like that. So we have a seriously national problem with our responsibility to our children and how we raise them, because these niggas out here in the street we see today, they were raised by some fucked up parents, literally. To act the way they behaving out here in these streets, I mean, it's really something that should be a national awareness about. I think we're overlooking. I think we're looking at cancer and looking at other stuff, but we're failing to look at what's killing us most, us. That should be a national awareness.
Especially considering it's been like 70 years on cancer and like 90 million, $100 million or something like that. And they quote unquote ain't figured out a cure yet. When in reality, the cure is prevention. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, it's everything to do with diet. But nonetheless, it's funny that you said it, because as soon as you even started talking about national awareness, the first thing that popped in my head was national awareness of Black Lives Matter for real. You know, we got into somewhat of a heated little topic the other night on my relationship show Wednesday night, and we got into the conversation of the whole Kanye West and Candace Owens thing with the shirt that they wore, White Lives Matter. And I said that I understood the point that Candace Owens was making. I don't know what the hell Kanye was talking about, but Candace Owens' point was on point, because she said we should worry more about diabetes among Black women than her shirt. And so the point that she was making, in my view, was, you know, the things that really matter, we don't tag emotion to it. But stuff like her shirt, we want to get all emotional and mad and pissed off about. But like, you know, our diet in the community that's killing the hell out of us, you know, each other killing the hell out of us way more than police do every year. Yet I see no one. And I said this, I said, when was the last time you seen Black Lives Matter protest in the hood, you know, on each other? We don't do that. And why don't we? It's a problem. So you're absolutely right. We need to bring more awareness to that, as if the whole country and the whole world doesn't know already what's going on with that epidemic. And that is absolutely something that we definitely need to bring awareness to. And, you know, I'll be honest, I wonder how to do it. Another thing we need to bring awareness to is if you leave a coffee pot in the Keurig when you're trying to make tea and you just want hot water and you end up with hot coffee tea, that is a problem right there, and we need to bring awareness to that. Just the same, we also need to bring awareness to Crypto Kenny, who's coming up next right here on the Tipping Point Morning Show. Brother, we missed you. How you doing, fam?
I'm doing well. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. You know, immediately, even before I go into my segment, you guys are striking emotions in me, Brother John, or King John, you know, to bring awareness to what's happening in society with single moms and the way that our Black men are being raised, and the trickle down effect. It's something that is definitely near to my heart, because, you know, I think that is the main thing that we should be focusing on. But, you know, society is actually designed in a way to separate that. You know, if you think about the problems that relationships have, they get into some little problems, they split up, and the government will start taking care of the mother as long as the father is not involved. You know, I mean, completely take care of her, to the point where they take care of her food, her rent, you know, extra money for, you know, just spending, as long as the father's not around, you know. And I think that dynamic eventually has women turn on the father. It's a subconscious thing. I mean, all races go through that. They all have the same benefits. So it's not something specifically to the African-American community. However, if you look at the impact of African-Americans in terms of the job market and, you know, getting to the next step of their development, it'll hurt them harder than another race, because of the other struggles that they have. Mm. So even though, you know, it's already designed so that the woman will be more comfortable being single, right? But then it's going to hit the African-American community a little bit harder because of the difficulty that it takes for African-Americans to feel comfortable in their job setting, whether getting a job or keeping a job. You know, I think, and that's another thing, you know, then you got child support. Child support will then, you know, garnish wages and suspend licenses and, you know, do a lot of other things. It's actually designed in society to keep it that way. So, you know, when we look at that struggle, I mean, it's a struggle that we can all recognize, but to actually correct it is so difficult because of the psychological aspects that are behind it. You know, it's just think about what happens to a woman subconsciously when she loses the father of her child, but then the government comes in and saves the day. She starts looking at that man like, you ain't shit, and the government helps me. And if I'm going to continue to get this help from the government, I can't have you around. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, women can, you know, manipulate the system and still have their father around and still collect the benefits of the money or whatever the case may be. But majority of them don't do it. And you start thinking to yourself, why not? And you start realizing that it has a deeper subconscious method behind that, you know? So everything is designed that way. So I love the energy that you brought bringing that subject up, because I think it's something that we should all pay attention to. But in terms of correcting it, my goodness, where would we start? You know, the awareness is good as far as just knowing that it exists. But, you know, when you're dealing with finances and someone saying, okay, I know you're struggling, but instead of your rent being $1,500, we're going to make it $300. And, oh, I know you don't have any money for food, but I'm going to give you $200 a week for food, or $300 a month, or $400 a month for food. As long as you stay single, as long as that father figure that you say is the, you know, is the superior of your child, as long as he's no longer in the picture, we'll continue to give you this. Just think about that dynamic. You know, we talk about the separation, but we don't talk about that dynamic. So
I wonder, can crypto help?
Okay, so yeah. Now going into crypto, let me just do a review of what we have
y'all
going
see the
on.
freeze up? Or is that just on my side?
I think it's just on your side.
It may be just on your side. I don't see anything.
Okay.
But as far as the crypto side of things, within Bitcoin Campus, as far as you guys know, Bitcoin Campus is a resource center that educates the masses on crypto, and it also leads them towards passive income and residual income possibilities, right, that they can build up. So the last couple of months, we've been working on a few projects that are doing extremely well. So I just want to highlight that for the day. Our project Daisy AI is now at 218% for the year. We got started in the Forex aspect of that in April. And since April, we're at 218%. So that basically means that, you know, the people that got involved back in April, they're way over profit mode. They've gotten their money back, and it still continues to pay them. So Daisy is looking at returns of over 20% a month. You know, it's on pace to do over 400% annually. You know, so if you look at just from an investment standpoint, to put in $100 and to get, you know, $300, $400 at the end of the year from that investment, I think that's pretty powerful. And crypto allows that, right? You're not going to find that type of possibility outside of crypto. From an investment standpoint, just plug and play your money. Another thing that we've been working on is something called the Get Fit Miner. And the Get Fit Miner is just an NFT. For those of you that don't know what an NFT is, it's just a digital asset that provides specific things that you can hold on to and generate money from. There's a whole array of possibilities when it comes to NFT and why it would be valuable, right? I'm not going to necessarily go into that. That's something you'd have to learn on your own. But we have an NFT that connects to an app that will actually airdrop cryptocurrency to those people just for their movement, their steps, their exercise. It's a pretty powerful technology and concept. They've been working on it for several months now. They finally got their final approval from Google 2 days ago. So they're going to start mining soon. So we're really excited about that project because of the risk versus reward. It's my job to assess some of these programs and then to bring it to the public. So my evaluation on the Get Fit Miner is that it's a one-time entry. So it costs is based on the price of Tag Coin. So Tag Coin is 4 cents, and it's 1,500 Tag Coin to get started. So the Get Fit mining business costs probably around $60 to get that NFT to start being a part of that movement. and they pay you anywhere between 20 and 60% per referral, and you start mining crypto on your aerobic and movement activities. So from an ROI perspective and a risk versus reward perspective, I love the concept. As a, the sky is the limit in terms of the technology and what you can do with this specific program. And if they don't end up doing what they're supposed to do completely, it's only a $60 risk. So these are the things that crypto provides. All you need is one program. From all the friends that I see, I have a couple of friends that are wealthy from crypto. And I've seen them before crypto and after crypto. And it really just takes one thing. All you need is just one program. You could fail at, 50 programs. If you do extremely well in one, it'll change your life. So the whole purpose of, educating yourself in crypto and investing and, putting money and not putting more than you can afford to lose and constantly building that portfolio, what you're doing is just giving yourself multiple ways to find that one that's going to change your life. And that's just basically the cycle. That's what we are educating people for. That's why you stay with your foot on the iron or your pedal to the metal or whatever the case may be, so that you can evaluate all of those possibilities, because there are several of them out there, as well as investing into the market and hodling. But that's something that will take 2 to 5 years, or until the market switches and goes into a bull run. But these are some of the things that we are focusing here in Bitcoin Campus. And from an educational standpoint, lastly, we've been working with Brandon Ivy. I think I'm going to try and connect you guys with Brandon so that he can maybe do a segment on the show in the next week or so. He does an incredible job of education. He's very passionate about, giving the updates of crypto. And so from a standpoint of just having people learn crypto, we've partnered with each other because he's always on it. Every day he's doing something, a live, a training. He has a video. He has plenty of videos of crypto education that people can purchase, so on and so forth. So being that he's done all that work, it's easy for me to just plug people into him as well for pure education. I like to do leverage education, leverage coaching. But for a lot of people, they need something more in-depth, consistent. Depends on the person, right? But we have all of those things available if someone is looking.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Man, coming on strong today with the social aspect as well as the crypto aspect. John, you got any questions for my man before he goes?
No, I don't. But he definitely brought some good points.
Absolutely. From an investment standpoint, man, I'm telling you, bitcoincampus.org. You guys can click the link right there. We got a referral link right there in the comment section on any of the pages and places, YouTube, wherever you're watching from. Then you can definitely click that. You can also click the tippingpointshow.com partners link that we have in there as well. And you can click the Bitcoin Campus logo right there. So with that being said, brother, appreciate you stepping on, coming through, always tapping into the subject at hand, as well as bringing that crypto force. Until next time, peace.
Yes, appreciate you guys. Have a blessed.
All right. Same to you, brother. Man, I tell you what, good stuff. Already getting the day moving. Next up, folks, it is our other brother from another mother, Brother Leonard Walker with the Stock Spotlight. Let's get it in. How you doing there, family?
Hey, how we doing? Right quick, to add.
Hold up. Let's just talk about this look real quick, man. You coming on with a smirk on your face, like smiling like life is just grand with the Adidas fit going. We need to call Adidas so we can get a endorsement going on. What's going on with you, man? You looking good, brother.
Hey, just came off a vacation.
There it is.
Yeah, I was out in Vegas. Plus, I'm gonna go on vacation again around my birthday next month. So we're going to Orlando, going down to Florida to hang out.
It's 3 months in a row because it was anniversary and then extra anniversary in Vegas with the wife and then birthday next month, man. Celebrating how many years again?
I'll be celebrating 55 years. But my wife, our anniversary, we celebrated 21 years married this year.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I
Oh,
love it. And I tell you what, man, y'all keep going strong, man. Be that light for the rest of us, man. I'm about to do it again here shortly.
Oh yeah. Just right quick with what Crypto Kenny was saying and what John on the subject of awareness about, our families. Yeah, you heard me say this before. Is he was saying something about how he doesn't know how to fix the child support situation or the family situation or the father, the fatherless home situation. I don't think we work on that end first because that's already in place. What we have to do is tell our young people, don't have children before you get married. Plain and simple. Don't have children before you get married. Be a husband before you be a spouse before you become a parent. And that helps out just a whole lot right there. Get yourself together. See, so, but like I said, that was just a quick thought on that particular subject. But let's jump on into this stock market right quick. As everybody knows, as everybody who has been paying attention, the market has been taking a hit.
Yep.
Bad. It's in free fall. Okay.
Yep.
But that's not such a bad thing for us dividend investors. Okay. Grand rising to you too, brother. All right. Right quick, sometimes when we're in a free fall, we have to make an adjustment. One of the things that I did is I talked about a stock some months ago called NUSI. That is the nationwide. That's the nationwide 100 income stock. I forget what it's called, but NUSY is the ticker, right? This stock is a cover call ETF that supposedly, does cover call options as, so for those that don't want to actually do cover call options, there are ETFs that actually do that, right? So it's a cover call ETF that does 100 cover call options, but it also supposedly had puts in place. Now puts, for calls and options, for calls and puts. Calls is like, all right, I'm gonna say that this stock is gonna perform really well. Okay, so if it performs well, then that's a call. All right, in layman's terms. A put is when you say, okay, I don't think this stock is going to perform that well. It's not going to make its earnings. All right. So if it doesn't make earnings, and you say it doesn't make earnings, then that's a put, right? So these so this stock particularly had puts that were supposed to back up its, if the calls weren't working right, to give it more stability. Well, that wasn't happening. Okay. This particular stock not only was losing its value, it actually has underperformed the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is lost about 16% right now, and it has lost about 27%. So, plus it also, the biggest thing is not so much the stock prices losing, but it also has decreased its dividend as well. So what I did is I went and sold all of my NUSI, and I went and bought some more JEPI. JEPI is the JP Morgan income stock. It's a cover call option as well, but that one is performing a little bit better. Plus, it pays me more. Okay, it's been consistently paying me anywhere from 50 to 60 cents per share, whereas NUSI was paying me, first it was 15, then it was 14, then it was 13, then it was 12. I said, nah, I need to go ahead and restructure. So that's what you may have to do during this time, is you may have to look at your stuff and say, what is performing the worst, all right? Maybe I need to restructure this. Maybe I need to look and see if I can put something in something that's doing a little bit better. So that's what I did, is I went on ahead and I bought some more JEPI. I sold off all of my NUSI and bought some more JEPI. And that one, like I said, that one pays me more. That's going to eventually give me about, I'm going to say at least another $100 to $200 a year just by doing that. Okay. So that worked out pretty well. But, yeah, Right now, it's a lot of red days. You just got to think about if you are, matter of fact, Stanley Druckenmiller, for those who don't know, one of the greatest stock investors in history, okay, in the history of stock investing. Him and Carl Icahn both said that right now the market is probably going to be flat for a little while, and it's probably best to be a dividend investor, okay, rather than a growth investor. So this is from the experts, all right, that are saying this, all right. They believe that we still haven't reached a recession yet. It may get, we're still in a free fall, right? So when it comes to dividend investing, all right, these red days are not bad. That means that you're buying stuff that's undervalued, okay? So, because it's not going to last forever. And this is the time, all right, just like with anything, is a lot of times you hear people say, buy the dip, so this is the time to buy the dip. This is the time to invest in things that are undervalued, the stocks that are hidden. I just installed a new thing on my computer that was giving me alerts. You have a lot of stocks that are hitting their 52-week lows right now, that are going below the 52-week low. It's making new 52-week lows. So these are the things you might want to look at. Say, oh man, that's not too good. No, that is good. If it's a dividend stock and it's paying you over 10%. See, so speaking of which, I got one that we can look at right here. A stock that is paying over 13% that for its dividend, that has been consistent here even in this tumultuous time. So let's get started with that. That's going to be the PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund. This is stock is under $20. It's $19.86.
Say that one again.
The PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund.
The PIMCO Dynamic?
Not the PIMCO.
We get to make money off the PIMCO? What?
Not the PIMCO, the PIMCO. There you go. And its ticker symbol is PDI, Papa Delta India. It's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Right now it's going for $19.80. It pays a yearly dividend per share of $2.60, call it $2.65. They have a dividend yield, like I say, of 13.36%. This is a monthly paying dividend.
Oh wow, that's a monthly? Wow.
Yeah.
$2.55 monthly?
Yeah, no, not $2.
No.
That's the yearly per share.
Oh, that's the year. Okay, all right. I'm about to say.
It pays 22 cents per share monthly. Now here's the kicker, right? Is this stock is actually down on its share price. Ticker symbol was Papa Delta Alpha, PDI.
Yeah, PDI, correct.
There you go. It's actually down. No problem. There you go. It's actually down below the S&P. The S&P is at 16. It's down 18%, which is not good. But here's the thing. Here's why you might want to look at this, right? Is it has been paying 22 cents consistently since 2015. Okay, so in a time where you're looking at you need some stability, you don't want a stock that's going to fall, okay, and you know that there's going to be an upturn and the stock is going to probably do better, right? There's one that you may want to think about. So, okay, so it's not losing, it's still paying me the same. Even though it's losing share price, it's paying me the same. Matter of fact, that's even better. As it goes down in share price and it's paying me the same, I can buy more stock. So you have to look at it like that. Now you're buying it at a discount. See, so like I said, so since 2016, it's paid 22 cents per share per month. All right, monthly. All right, at less than $20. This is a closed-end fund. This is not an ETF. It's a closed-end fund, and it seeks income over capital appreciation, so it can pay out its investors and its shareholders. So that's this stock right here. Like I said, do your due diligence, look them up, check them out. PIMCO Dynamic, they've got a website, so you can do your due diligence on them. But like I said, that's the big thing that sticks out with me is that this fund has been paying 22 cents consistently over the last 7 years. So that's something to consider with this one. And,
So I got a question. I think when you mentioned earlier about it's always best to look into the dividends. Yes, and at the same time, people need to know that when you invest in stock, when you're looking at a stock to invest in, you should look for the stock that is giving you some type of dividend yield.
right.
So
right.
there are some, when you look it up, you will see whether it's giving you any yield for dividends or it's not giving you nothing. So what he's saying is that based upon you picking a stock, make sure you pick a stock that is offering dividends. Now look at the percentage of dividends that they're giving per share, whether they're giving it per month, per quarterly, or per yearly, and add that shit up. Then that way you'll kind of know on what to expect from that company.
Right. And like I said, is why do we want to do that? Because if I'm going to lock my money up, okay,
Right.
if I'm gonna lock $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 up in a stock, all right, I want to get something out of it, okay.
Right.
I want to get some money back. See, so like I said, is or get some money for letting these people hold it. And sometimes, like I said, 10%, 13%, 15%. These are sometimes it's a little bit less than that. The more stable stocks that don't really like AT&T, right? That we had talked about earlier. AT&T was actually a what you call a dividend aristocrat. They had been paying dividend increases for the last 25 years. Okay, they don't pay a whole lot, right? But they don't cost a whole lot either, right? But the thing is you knew consistently that, oh, I'm gonna get a raise. I'm gonna get more money. I'm gonna get more money off of this. All right, this time, this was probably the first time that they actually lowered their stock in the last 25 years. So they no longer are a dividend aristocrat. But yeah, these dividend aristocrats out here, Johnson & Johnson, AT&T, they got a few other ones that are out here as well. They're going to be dividend aristocrats. They're going to pay dividends, consistently on a growth basis for 25 years. Their percentages are not real high. Sometimes they pay 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. But understand is when you're building your portfolio, you need things that are stable like that are actually not going to fluctuate and go up and down. They're actually going up, right? To kind of fill in the gaps when you got some stuff like a NUSI that's going down, right? That you have to do some stuff with. So like I said, is make sure that your portfolio is diversified. There are plenty of tools out there. One of the things I recommend is going online and getting a dividend calculator, okay? That way you can get your strategy together to figure out, all right, so which things do I want to get? What's my objective goal per year, per month? How much money do I want to be able to bring in per month? How is this stuff paying per month? See, so you get one of those, and like I said, you can actually plug in the stocks, and it'll tell you, right? It'll actually tell you, in order to get this, you got to have this many shares of this many shares of that, this many shares of whatever, and then start building your portfolio there. So the better you stay organized, but take advantage of these rare days. And rare days is, like I say, when the market is down. This is when you buy up some stuff. Dollar cost average, like I say, we talked about that before, where you take about $200, $300, $500 if you can do it. Instead of putting it into your no, that's not a REIT, man. Let me see. No, but anyway, like I said, is dollar cost averaging, where you instead of putting money in savings after you done built your savings up, instead of doing that, started putting in investing in stocks. So there we have it, man.
Awesome.
I tell you what, awesome, man. Another week with some very pertinent information, especially in times like this, folks. We need all the information we can get when it comes to this, and we need all the help we can get to even enlighten us to things that we need to go out and research ourselves. Appreciate you, brother. It's Leonard Walker with the Stock Spotlight right here once again, folks, on the Tipping Point Morning Show. We'll see you next week.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
All right, folks, it's 5 minutes in financing coming up. Give it just 1 minute. Coming up right after commercial here on the Tipping Point Morning Show, folks. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, check out healthdaddywow.net. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, healthdaddywow.net. Remember, healthdaddywow.net.
I don't need to sit at your table. We building one. We in the process of building a table. We building a table. I don't gotta sit at your table. I'm building my own table, and I will build you a table in the presence of your enemies.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap, sticks, and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at sayababa.com. Again, that's sayababa.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right, folks. All right, we are back. It is the Tipping Point Morning Show, and we have Lady Brazilian there with 5 minutes in financing tips. Sis, how you doing?
Good morning, Kings. How are you?
All right, all right.
Good morning.
So it's always funny to me how we all, for some reason, we connect with each other and we all have the same conversation, right? So this morning I said, you know what? This is going to be a great topic. So being that we're about financing and being that majority of us are business owners, today my financing topic is get you a prenup. I am also an ordained minister, and I married my best friend over the weekend. And I have a couple of other weddings I'm going to be conducting in the next few months, but none of them have a prenup. So let's talk about that for a second. What are prenup or prenuptials? In the state of Kentucky, I know for a fact, everything gets split in the middle. Everything. So if you have a business or businesses, bank accounts, houses, whatever, even your children get split in the middle, right? Guess what? I got a prenup. Now, so what you need to do is you can actually get your own prenup created by your attorney if you have one. If you don't have one, you can simply go to rocketlaw.com, and there they have a drop-down list of all the states. Of course, to pick your state that you're in, I chose Kentucky, and they have everything listed out for you, from your house to your businesses, bank accounts, your deeds, everything. Remember, not only do you have a business, but your marriage can also be considered a business too. Remember, when one dies before the other, sometimes if no one speaks up, that stuff either goes to the children or to the state. So get you a prenup, cover yourself, cover your children, cover your businesses, cover your finances. And I hope that helps out.
I got a couple of questions for you. One is, do a prenup trump a will?
Majority of times, yes, it does.
It puts up a fight. It don't actually trump it. It can put up a fight in court in the probate. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And towel your assets up while waiting on the court to happen. Now, here's another question. Does it raise red flags for a woman or a man? Let's say, for instance, for a woman, when a man says, hey, I got this piece of paper, you need to sign this while we get married. Does that kind of create a friction in a relationship a little bit?
It actually does. I was dating and we were getting serious, and I presented him with my prenup, and he looked at me. He said, what do you want me to do? I said, first, I want you to read it. I said, here's a copy. I want you to go take it to your attorney because you're a businessman. And I want the both of you to read it, understand it, ask me any questions. And I want you to sign it. We're going to get it notarized and bring it back. And I'll put it in my safe deposit box. Well, why do I need to do this? Because I'm a very successful person and I have a lot of stuff tied up, from my assets, my stocks, everything, deeds. I have all of that, and my children. So for you to read over this, sir, and here's all your information. Here's my information. He kind of looked a little funny at first. It took him a couple of minutes and he was like, nah, I'm just going to give it back. And that's fine.
Whoa.
I don't know if he quite didn't understand it or he just didn't want to sign it. And that's perfectly fine. So I took it back and have a great day. That's okay.
Wow. So, I mean, do you think you have a way that, you would like a guy to, get close to you in your ear and, y'all having a nice evening and baby, I look at this right here, baby. I want you to sign this. I mean, is there a particular way to introduce that in a relationship?
I'm all about being upfront and honest, and being that I'm a businesswoman. If you tell me, hey, Heather, I have a prenup, we're getting serious, and I would like for you to read over it before we decide to make any necessary changes or any, moves or what have you. Again, being a businesswoman, okay, sure, no problem. I'll read it. If there's something I don't understand, I'm either going to ask my attorney, which I do pay a retainer fee, or I'm going to ask you, hey, in this section, in this paragraph, you said this. Please go in a little bit more detail so I can understand for myself what I'm signing. Some people sign prenups and don't have a clue of what they say. Prime example, we found that out in the Tyler Perry movie. She signed the prenup. We're only in it for love. And she had nothing. She had nothing. When that man kicked her out of that house, she had nothing. I'm going to have all my stuff.
So in a woman's case, if a woman marries a man that's got wealth, and so then he pulls out the prenup, like you said, if it's over with, relationship's over with, he done had her for a few years, married her, and then divorced her, and then she can only get a small amount. How the woman gets over that hurdle when we're talking about love? When we talk about love ain't supposed to have numbers to it, we say, right? But actually it do, because if you're talking about somebody that built wealth, they're looking at somebody that hasn't built wealth and say, hey, if I bring you in, sign this prenup. How does that look on the woman's side? What would you sign a prenup if you was not wealthy and you was marrying somebody wealthy and he says, hey, baby, you need to sign this?
I would.
Okay.
And speaking on me, this is me personally, I would, because I know how to hustle and how to work and how to get back what I
that part. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that a woman who wasn't wealthy, as that example you gave, John, probably would sign it as well. Just because, I mean, she ain't got nothing to lose. She would have plenty to gain if she didn't sign it and they still moved on. But I think in that situation, that man would be like, hey, you don't sign, we don't bind. So, well,
when you think about somebody that built wealth, and then they've already built the wealth before they met this person, and then that person comes into the picture and y'all get married. Then when you decide that ain't working, so now you want a divorce. Now she takes half your shit that you had built before she even came in the picture. That ain't right. Something ain't right. If you came in broke, you should leave broke. It's just, I believe that. You came in that way, you take what you leave. You don't come in and act like you taking all my stuff that I've already accumulated before you got here. That piece don't make sense to me.
Absolutely.
Dama dance.
Hey, Leonard Walker says prenups, insurance, wills, and trust are things we as a people that we don't consider as a people. This needs to be a hashtag. Financial literacy matters.
Correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we are not born into that wealthy category. A lot of the wealthier, the superstars, they have prenups.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure Jay-Z and Beyonce have a prenup. I know for Michael Jordan has one because I read up on it. When he had that baby by that lady, she only gets so much if they happen to divorce for the child, not her. Yes, they have a prenup. That's in it. And she signed it.
Absolutely. 50 Cent should have had that with his baby mamas.
Yes, he should have.
He got his son all over social media complaining because he only gets $81,000 a year.
That's,
and then the son's mad. I can't live off that.
Damn.
I show you how.
But absolutely. All right, sis. Well, we appreciate you, and until next time.
You're welcome. Bye.
Peace. I tell you what, man, that is interesting right there, but I was listening to that yesterday, 50 Cent son, all on social media complaining because he said that 81 grand, that 6,700 a month is not enough.
I find anybody's son that comes on TV and national media and talks about them, that shows their relationship is kind of messed up. Anybody's child will come on social media and start talking about their father or their mother just for attention. I think that piece is the messed up piece. And he's very ungrateful if he think $81,000 ain't enough for his father to be giving him. I'd have kicked him to the curb and gave him nothing. Shit, if he's going to go on social media and talk about his father who raised him, that don't even make sense. That says something about our relationship.
Man, what needs to happen more so than anything else is people need to walk around with like some type of applications and stuff like that. You get ready to date somebody, bam, hit them with the application so they can fill out and you can gather information about that person and go and do some background checks and make sure everything is copacetic.
Well, that's a good point, because here we are talking. We started talking about it, and definitely we're going to get into this subject about black naming branding a business black owned. But we're talking about this what we're going through right now with these fatherless kids, these young boys growing up without proper daddies, without proper fathers raising them and teaching them anything. And so then we have women who are raising these boys who are disrespectful to women and out here in the streets. So there's a problem here. So now we're really talking what a solution is, like crypto, where we're really talking is value. And so what we're lacking is value. So let me give you an example of value. And this is not, again, striker towards women, but I'm going to tell you something. Men are hunters. We're trying to stick whatever we can. We're hunting for either food, shelter, or sex to create, right? It's just that simple. And so women, y'all need to know that your vagina is actually valuable. It's extremely valuable, and it shouldn't be given away so easily. It should not. It definitely shouldn't be given away to somebody running around with his pants hanging down. But you should value your body to the point to where you don't let someone into that specifically unless he's somebody that comes with something. And I think this is where we are in this relationship. We're talking about us, and now we're talking prenup, to where now, if you marry me, you're gonna have to sign this piece of paper. Now when I kick you to the curb, you get nothing. So now we got people like what we talking about, 50 Cent, whose son goes out, and I question, what was the relationship like? Where was the fatherhood in that relationship that played a role that your son went against you in public? Somehow something's going wrong, and it almost sounded like he wasn't in his son's life, so therefore he was raised by his mama, and then his mama spilled bad venom about the daddy. Because sometimes when women are raising boys and they have a hatred towards the father, you can hear it out the mouth. The son hears it, and he hates it too. You know what I'm saying? So we got this cycle we got going on, and we don't fix it because we don't value who we are. And I think that's the piece. Even for a man to run around just trying to stick anything to have babies unprotected, he's not valuing himself enough to where he has more of a choice to choose before he picks a woman. And I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking value for many reasons of why we don't have it. We don't have value in ourselves.
Man, absolutely. It's it's a full circle, never ending cycle at this point. The people who created the problem have stepped out of it, and the cycle is perpetuating itself on its own. You know, they put salt in the game. You know, said, hey, tell us about your life on microphone, you know, to a beat. Tell us about your life and your life in the hood, you know. So now we air out our dirty laundry, you know, that just grows and gets worse and worse and worse. And we continue to listen to that. And then it grows into TV and social media. I think the president of Zeus programming should lose his whole streaming platform, because it is nothing but garbage television on that platform. Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is nothing but garbage on there. And it's sad, because these are the things that people could sit there and say, oh, well, I'm not, you know, it's just entertainment. But, you know, the more that what about the people who are actually looking at that, and that's how they groom their lives? You know, you may be able to look at it and step away from it and just laugh at it and go on about your business. But what about the other people times 10 of you that are looking at that, and this is how they groom their lives after? And, you know, it's people that look like me and you, and people that look like the people on TV that's watching it. You know, and it's all garbage programming. And so now that gets perpetuated into the music. We turn the same type of music on and we listen to that. And so then we go and eat the same type of garbage food that goes along with that same type of garbage music and that same type of garbage television. And the important things in life, like finances, is all the things that you're sitting back complaining about that you're not handling. You know, so now it's just a full circle of just a garbage lifestyle. And it is something that we now call culture. You know, that ain't my motherfucking culture. I tell you that much.
Yeah. You know, when we talk about freedom of speech, when we're talking about being an artist and presenting art, we should have that freedom of speech. I totally agree. The problem is when certain people would take that freedom of speech and use it as a weapon. Yes, I can make a rap song to talk about Black women and call them all kind of names. The problem is when another people take that song and then put it out there all over the airwaves and use it as a weapon, because we don't know, oh, I got paid for that song. I got me a check. I got paid. Look at me. But they actually use that song as a weapon against your people. And that person who got the pay, he's blinded by what they did with it, how they use it as a weapon against us, to where now we're walking around with these subliminal messages that they are programming us with. Now we behave like the rapper who sung the rap. And so, you know, but he don't see it because he got a big check. But he don't see, he thinks he's a really good rapper. He thinks he deserves to be there. But actually, he's just only being used as a weapon against his own people. And that's perpetuating the same thing. And I think that's the problem. Also, but we won't turn that shit off. So it goes back to our responsibility. I'm not into pointing the finger at the white man, the Jews, or those who own the entertainment world. I'm pointing the finger at us, those who it's easy to turn that off. But if you don't know to turn it off, then that is the problem. You don't know to turn that off and not allow your child to listen to that.
Man.
But anyway, that's an interesting piece by itself on the programming that we are. But let's talk.
Absolutely. And just real quick, I feel like, you know, as certain things come out, they're invented for a positive purpose, and then what happens is it gets perverted.
Correct.
So even looking at cylinder phonographs. All right, Thomas Edison. In the process, he invented the phonograph as a way to play back recorded sounds. In a June 1878 issue of North American Review, Edison wrote that he envisioned the reproduction of music as a future use of the device, as well as dictation, education, and telling time like a verbal clock. So all positive things, but then it got perverted, and so on and so forth. They continue to invent things to help perfect the perversion. But nonetheless, as we talk about this subject today, you know, should should a business be branded as quote unquote Black owned? This is a kind of a thought here, and it's something that right now we're seeing a greater rise of the Black owned business being perpetuated throughout the country. And on one hand, I don't see anything wrong with it, but on the other hand, from a business owner's perspective, I'm not trying to limit myself. So I feel like in a way that would be limiting myself. Right now, I don't look like what a person might think a life insurance agent is supposed to look like, right? But I think if I were to brand my business, me personally, as Black owned, then to put that out in the forefront, then I don't know. That would be in a sense limiting myself, because to be perfectly honest with you, when it comes to us in finances and life insurance, especially, we are the hardest people that I have to deal with when it comes to my business. I think you spoke on that before, as other people that in your life have said the same thing. It's a difficulty when it comes to us. So if I was to sit there personally and brand that as such, and I would only get the majority of us coming through the door, then I don't know how that will work out for me. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
That's it's twofold, and I think this subject came about a conversation that Brother Kyrie brought up about a couple of weeks ago, dealing with should a business use the phrase 100% Black owned, and so that all depends. And that depends on a couple of things, because that can hurt you, and it can also help you, depending on what you're going for. Mm-hmm. And so let me first say that when you dub a business Black owned, you're trying to tap into people's emotion. Okay, so that means that piece word that says Black owned, that's an emotional statement. If your product, and your product has a name to it, it has a logo, it has explanation on how to use the product, that's intellectual. That is not emotion. When you dub it Black owned, Muslim owned, Jewish owned, you are trying to tap into certain people's emotions to do what? To feel either sorry for you or feel related to you. Either way it goes, it's an emotion. So in other words, we just talked about Candace Owens and Kanye wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter. Who do you think that triggers? It triggers Black people, not white people. So it triggers them because of their emotions. Okay, so this is how we walk around, emotionally affected by these things, not intellectually affected. So we walk more in the emotional realm than we do in the intellectual realm. And that's why they can take something like that, and emotionally it will trigger us emotionally, make us mad, make us angry. And I think that's the reason why Kanye and your boy and your girl does that, is to piss Black people off, is to actually to stir up people's emotion.
Yeah.
So in the case where you have a Black owned business, when you say Black owned, first of all, depending on the kind of product that you're selling and your target market, being Black owned is a small niche, an extremely small niche that is available. And when you use the word Black owned, you only going for even the smallest niche. I'll give you an example. So we only made up of 14% in this country. That's men, women, and children. So let's eliminate the men that are in prison. Let's eliminate children. Let's eliminate people that probably ain't got the wealth to buy your product. So now you got a little small niche. Now let's go in and say Black owned. Now your niche is even smaller of who you can sell your products to. But listen to this. Only time Black people buy Black is when they're mad at white. So in other words, we don't walk around literally Black people, the people who are the spending power, do not walk around looking at products to see if it's black owned. I'm sorry, we don't do that. We only do it when we're pissed at white people. The only time you hear the cry about buy black is when we mad at white, and that's an emotional. But when that emotion is gone, you're now back to buying white again because you're not thinking about looking at products to see if it's black owned. So you are actually tapping into an emotion, and that emotion fluctuates up and down because nobody with this color skin goes out and buy 100% of their products black owned. They don't. If you look at your shoes, look at your gas you're buying. We don't walk around with this concept, oh, I'm only going to buy from someone black. That's a small niche. So if you put that on your product, you're killing a whole big niche. First of all, black owned. Everybody don't consider themselves black just because they're this color. A Moor wouldn't buy it. Even a Muslim wouldn't buy it because, you don't use the word that is also offensive by using the word black. First of all, right?
Which is a trigger in and of itself.
So there's some black people who don't like the word black. Okay, so now you limited your niche even more. So what are you in business for? Are you in business to make money? Are you in business to tap emotions? If you're in business to make money, remove the emotion and focus on the quality of the product. Focus on the brand, but don't use that unless you got a product that's only geared towards for black people. Because here's the thing: if there was a product out that was geared only for black people, meaning only black people can use this product, it would be suspect if a white person is behind the scene of that business. Now, it will help if you have a black product that's only geared for black people and it says 100% black owned, and that will help you in the course of your target market. But if that ain't your product, don't do that because you are hurting yourself. It's the same mentality if you walked up to a product and you saw 100% white on. Are you still buying that? Hell no, you're putting it down because you done already offended me by saying 100% white on. I don't care if your Adidas had beneath it 100% white on. You ain't buying it. I ain't buying that.
But the thing about it is that, think about it. What you speaking to, John, I don't have to walk into a room and announce that I'm black, right? So people right now, all day long, unless they're mad at white people, are buying white-owned product that don't say white-owned.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It just says the product, and they buy it, and we buy it all day long, right? But like you said, we get mad and we go buy black-owned this day, that day. We create days to put a black Facebook page up or whatever, or picture up, right? To celebrate black owned. But on every other day of the week, you ain't doing shit black owned. Think about that. I mean, like you said, when I walk into a Chinese restaurant, guess what I want to see back there cooking my food. When I walk into a Mexican restaurant, guess what I want to see back there working. Cooking I want to know that the people that created this at least are of that ethnicity. All right, that's what I want to know. But I tell you what, I love what Kari said here because it speaks to something. And Leonard, I know you're gonna touch on this. I think you are. I'm not sure, but black owned to our people equates to secondary, and to others it equates to irrelevant. Think about the power behind that now.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I've switched my terminology in general conversation to use the term melanated. All right, melanated, and or I might even use African American. But I try to stay away from black. I try to stay away from white. That goes with the ADOS conversation as well. Of stop using words that Massa created long ago, because it was created as words for division nonetheless anyway. So if you say black, then what does black mean in this country generally? It equates to secondary, and it equates to irrelevant. Therefore, sitting there trying to go out in public and yell black, 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 bro, we need to create move towards other terminology when it comes to that. But trying to put out that I'm a black-owned business as if that's going to bring, I mean, you said everything right there in that conversation, John, with the fact that, hey, you're going to be limiting yourself so much business-wise when it comes to that. Now, I don't have a problem with, let's say, celebrating Black-owned businesses to bring them to the forefront, so people can see them, know them, and patronize them. But those businesses in and of themselves, I'm not putting no BOB sticker nowhere on my business. Leonard.
All righty, guys. So there's a way to make Black-owned work, okay? To make it work. And here's the truth of the matter. Those that truly understand the power of Black-owned business do not focus their efforts on getting Black people to buy their stuff. That's not what that's about. And I can tell you as a fact, I was in a business meeting with one of my customers, okay? What you want to do is you want to have a MBE, okay, from the state. You know, be a Black-owned business, be it with a minority business enterprise or woman business enterprise or whatever. You can consider yourself Black-owned business, but when you become an MBE, now all of a sudden these white corporations and other corporations are looking to get some of that minority spend. Listen, I had a customer of mine that makes auto parts that I used to deal with. I went into a meeting and they were actively looking for Black-owned businesses that could do something for their business because they had $267 million to spend on minorities. One company, okay? So how do we make this work? Well, you know, you say, well, I don't have an auto parts company. I don't make this. I don't make that. No, but you can do a janitorial company. Okay. All these businesses need janitorial services. All these businesses need caterers. All these businesses need landscaping. These are things that we already know how to do. Okay. And you just make it into a business, get your MBE and say, hey, listen, here's my janitorial service. Guess what? And then the beauty of it is that once you get into one company, they will advertise to their customers, say, hey, listen, you know what? We use these people right here. So you could get this minority credit, all right, for tax breaks and tax purposes, all right? And guess what ends up happening? Now you're tapping into that 260 million, and then you go over here and tap into that 500 million, and before you know it, your business is super, super profitable, making 10, 15, 20 million dollars a year off of a small business. This is how you make that kind of stuff work. What John is talking about and what a lot of us think about is that affinity, you know, is like you said, it's emotional. Oh, this is a Black-owned, Black-operated business. We only hire Black. We only do Black. We only serve the Black people. Listen, plain and simple, there's a niche there for doing stuff with Black people, but Black people have the least amount of money in America, all right? Why would you only target your money toward getting money from Black people, right? When there's so much more money from everybody else just from being Black, right? See, so yeah, that's how you make that work. Because, like I said, is do you want to brand your business? Branding it Black-owned and then getting a state certification saying that, hey, I am listen, this is what you have. You have white-owned businesses where the owner, the husband, makes his wife 51% owner of the business and then goes to the state and says, hey, let's make this a WBE, a woman-owned business enterprise, right? Mm-hmm. And guess what happens? Now they're a minority business and they're getting minority spend. We can do the same thing. It's just like I said, is we got to get out of this. I only want to give my stuff to Black people. So no, that's not how business works. And John is a testament to that. John will sell his stuff to anybody that wants to buy it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Why are you gonna limit your stuff to whomever? So yeah, that's how we have to make that work, because I'm telling you, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of money out there to be made.
And absolutely. Right here, you can go to finance.ky.gov. I did put that link in the comments and the chats there, and you can go ahead and sign up to become a minority and or woman business enterprise certification program, get that certification,
right,
and go ahead and tag that in your business, because you're absolutely right. There are businesses out there that want to work with minority on it, and there's a list.
Yeah. If you are an entrepreneur, you got a trucking company, you got a whatever you have, it is to your benefit to go to the state that you're in and sign up for their minority program and get their certification to be a DBE, a disabled or disadvantaged business, because you do have, like I said, you do have corporations that are seeking and looking to spend money on your business if you can offer a service for them that they can use. Seriously.
And I think some people look at, something like this. I think it's absolutely cool to be labeled BOB on paper because there's benefits, but publicly, hell no. I think some people look at that and say, oh, you selling out, this, that, and the other. And, the only people that's going to look at that and say that is going to be us anyway, because we're the only people that sit there and got all type of names and shit like that for each other, for everything. Which
is a broke mentality. Only broke people makes that statement anyway.
Absolutely. If somebody's got $5 to $10 million to sow into your business, meaning that you can expand your business, hire whoever you want to hire, it don't matter where the hell that damn money comes from.
No,
see, like you said, that is a broke ass mentality right there.
Which is what happened when Ice Cube sat there and was looking at 500, was it 500 million or 500 billion? I can't remember. Whatever it was a whole bunch of damn money. And we just threw salt on it because Ice Cube, you ain't supposed to be like that. You messing with Trump, you messing with the Republican Party like that, but did it really matter where that money comes from if in fact it was an influx of money to help push forward our community? I don't think it really would matter at all where that money would come from, because you can go out and you can do whatever you want.
The deeper issue is, do we really want to advance, or do we just want to just continue to suffer and stay in a state of suffering so we can just continue to complain? Is that what it is? Because like you said, is you can get behind Ice Cube, or you can get behind a whomever, right, just coming up with an idea, Bob Johnson or whomever, saying, hey, here's $350,000, or here's, that's seed capital to start any business that you want to try to start, or whatever. That's life-changing money, right? But we want to shoot it down because we want to continuously suffer. I mean, misery loves company, but if we are dependent on the government and dependent on these people, dependent on that, well, that's going, that requires work. That's going to make me have to. So that's a whole different conversation right there.
Let me add this, and it's two parts to this. I've heard listening to this when you talk about the dubbing a business black owned. First of all, there is nothing in the application of a business as you what color you are. Number one, there's nothing in signing for a tax ID as you what color you are, state, federal, whatever, right? Local government. It's nothing in the application cares about what color you are. And so now, when you are trying to get money and there's money allocated out here for someone of color or a woman of sex, it is absolutely go get it, right? Go get it. But I want you to understand something. And that's that one part. By going to get money that's out for you, opposed to putting your brand, putting it on your brand to who you sell it to. It's two different ones. Yeah, get your money, get whatever qualifies you qualify for, get that, but don't brand it. Now, with both of that said, you mentioned something, Leonard, that our people is really stuck in, and I'm not telling people not to go get that money. What I am going to say is that we have what is called a victim mentality in every move we make. If I start a business, if I begin to first think, oh, let me find some funding because I'm black, I'm already pushing out my victimization in order to get paid for being a victim. In other words, let me find some money for victims. It's really what I'm saying. Let me go find some money for victims. Maybe they'll give me some money to help me start a business. Now, I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but I am saying that something is wrong when you dub yourself a victim, right, and thinking that you need help because you are a victim. I think there's a mindset that's above that. I think those who are your quality people who are go-getters, they don't see victimization. And what I'm saying is that once you start valuing yourself above that, life changes. But how do you get there is the problem. Right. If you believe because your certain color keeps you from achieving certain goals, then you are a victim because you can't do nothing about it. There's the difference between a person who was denied a job and he's thinking he was denied because of the color of his skin, or he's thinking he was denied because he's not educated enough. The one that thinks he's not educated enough is not a victim. He can do something about that. The one that says, oh, they didn't harm me because I'm black, he's a victim because you can't do nothing about victimization. In other words, you're a victim, you stay in that victim stage. But the one that doesn't see that is not a victim. They say, oh, I can get over that hurdle. If you deny me a loan, I'm not going to say you denied me that loan because I'm black. I'm going to say you didn't deny me that loan because my credit ain't good enough, or my risk factor to get that money ain't high enough. I'm not going to assume that I'm black because when I do that, I can only go in the corner and weep and cry and ask for pity and support. That's my piece I'm talking about. It's the mindset. Not going into business thinking you are a victim. Go into business thinking you're going to be victorious and nothing's going to stop you from achieving your goal. That piece there is where the balance should be.
Right, and then that's the thing with being if you certify as an MBE or DBE, you got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
You got to you can't just go up in there and say, okay, here, I'm bringing skin to the table. I'm bringing color to the table. Pay me. No, it don't work like that. No. You got, not only do you got to do the work, you got to do, because here's the thing. If you really want to do something for our people, not only do you have to do the work, okay, you got to do a good job, because that's what your business is about. Doing a good job in landscaping or janitorial or creating these parts. That's just like there's a company right now out of Detroit called Bridgewater Interiors, all right, that makes car seats, all right, for Ford, for all of them, right? Black-owned company, did a joint venture with Johnson Controls back in the day. Listen, black-owned, but guess who the plant manager is? Guess who the floor supervisor is? They'll have anybody, because doing what they have to do because it's about the business, right? But yet and still, it's beneficial to them in the city of Detroit, in the city of Easterboga, Alabama, in the city of Lansing, Michigan. It's beneficial to those communities that business is there, all right, providing those good jobs, providing, all of the help they have for the community.
They call it enterprise zones.
There you go. Enterprise zones.
Incentives for people to open up businesses in certain areas. Joe, that's why you see that factory down there in the West End. A discount, a label factory in the West End, because they're getting that enterprise zone money. They've been there for years.
Right. See, so you have that. Plus, it's good for Johnson Controls because they say, listen, we're not racist. We want to actually deal with, the communities that we, service, all right, that we sell products to. So it's a win-win for everybody. But at the end of the day, John is right. You got to do the work. You can't just go up there and just be like, hey, plus, if you do good work, then guess what? The next business that comes along, they say, we're going to use, because guess what? If you don't do the good work, there is some other business that will take your place. And they'll do it real quick and won't have to. They say, listen,
sure will.
We're losing money on this. This ain't even worth the tax break right here. We'll get a tax break from a woman business or a Hispanic person's business or Asian business. Because guess what? They're considered MBEs too. So
it's interesting how we carry this thought process in our community about Black owned and such like this. When I see, I'm looking at something right now. It's so funny. I just pulled up Facebook, and I'm not going to show it here on the show because he didn't make this public. I'm not going to say who it is. I'll just say his name rhymes with we all know him. His name rhymes with El Tata. We'll say that. But he posted something and he said, I guess none of us, quote unquote us, is qualified. And it says it's a screenshot that says AMP hires new director of advancement to help with fundraising efforts. All right. Now, it looks like a white woman that AMP hired. Now, AMP has a lot to do with giving out funding to, I guess, minority businesses. I don't know if it's just us in business, but you know, they give out. Let's look at that. Provides free music program for kids, learning technology. You know, so I honestly, you know, they're located in I don't know. It doesn't seem that they are it's AMP Louisville. And their vision to build generational wealth for families and entrepreneurs, creating self-sufficiency, economic mobility, and more equitable society. It doesn't say for Black people. Right. And they got a picture. Here, I'm gonna show this to y'all. They have a picture of what, you know, a man and a boy here. But nothing in here says that their money or their help. Okay, here to amplify and accelerate the economic and equity transformation of Black and brown communities. Okay, so all right, we got that out the way. It's for Black and brown communities. So someone was disappointed that they did not hire a Black fundraiser, a Black person or a melanated person as a fundraiser. Now, someone else commented and said, hey, according to what it says on their LinkedIn page, they are a fundraising machine.
Yeah.
So if the money that this non-melanated person helps to raise is going towards Black and brown communities, does it really matter that they're non-melanated? That goes right back to the Ice Cube trying to get the money over from the Republican Party. You know what I mean? It didn't matter where the money came from as long as it went to help us in our communities, right? And this is the same situation here where, hey, the board, you know, they said, oh, well, I've submitted plenty of applications. Well, you know, apparently the board of directors and everybody involved in the hiring felt that this person was the most qualified. And one would think that they want to go out and get them as much money as possible, right? Because they got staff to pay as well as money that goes out to the community. So with that in mind, then does it really matter that it's a non-melanated person? You know, and we got this bad, man, when it comes to us and our community. We worry too much about some of the dumbest and wrong things when it comes to that. Get to the point, get to the money. That's what you need to do. Get to the money.
Right. It's bottom line is it's all about getting the best person in that position. Just going, you know, I mean, if you got a person that's raising hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It's got a track record of being able to do that. It really don't matter what they look like. Right? If you're trying to raise this money for your organization, and they're talking about being able to do this, it's all business. Because at the end of the day, it's about dollars and cents, right? So yeah. So you know, I mean, that what matters is, can you get me the money that I need to do the things that I need to do, right? And what we have to do is that person right there, okay, when they get ready to retire, they need to be grooming somebody that might look like us to be able to do that, or look like somebody else to be able to do that, so that because they have a plan of contingency so that we can become self-sufficient. We don't know everything, but we got to learn. And we got to learn from somebody, and you got to humble yourself. And sometimes the people that you might have to learn from don't look like you, right? So, hey, you got to get it where you can get it. That's the knowledge. So.
Man, exactly. It makes me wonder. I mean, good damn, are we really crabs in a barrel? Like, for real, we don't want to see progress. Like we really don't. You know, let me read some of these comments here, man. Let's see. Also, at the same time, it all goes back to what intention you place out there when wanting to put a label on your business, such as B.O.B. You get the wealth that you set the intention to receive. Absolutely. Someone says, well said. The power, Johnny J once again says, the power of the mind is not a joke. Man, I'm telling you, I've been, myself, my circle, you know, my wife, everything, man, people are learning this right here. It's few and far between, but people are learning it. Labels you put on yourself or business is a direct reflection of what you will magnetize to yourself. Limitations or freedom, it's all on you. Kari Muhammad says the Latino Hispanic community is a magnificent case study. Absolutely. Let's take the Asian community as well, bruh. These communities come in statistically, they come in and within 7 years, they are business owners. And a lot of people, and I heard this conversation the other day. Oh, these people come in and they get money, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. No, they don't. They literally will sit there, and I've had this conversation with them as well. They will sit there in their other countries, and a group will come together. Maybe it's 10 people, maybe it's 20 people, you know, families and everything. And they will pool their money together and say, we're going to send these two that are qualified. Maybe these two went to business school, you know, whatever. But we're going to send these two over to America. So they pay to send those two over to America, and they send them to America with money. And in that collective state, these two will go do what they need to do, get the business going that everybody thought about, put together. Maybe it's a liquor store in the hood because they know black people don't put up a fight. Right. So they go and they do that and they create more money, and then they help bring their other families back or over here to America. You know, we got to get out of this mentality. Go find me people that specifically there's all this funding that is going to people. Yes, I know there's money out there, but guess what? You know what that money is? It's the same minority monies that is out there for any of us.
Right.
Right. Kari Muhammad says, I was with Amped and it was about 60% of what it was sold to be. Hey, that's over 50%. So that's a good deal. That means majority. They should have a white fundraiser. Send someone the people with the funds are familiar with. Hey, I ain't mad at that at all. Absolutely. Sounds like it makes sense. You know, and that is a good strategy.
And Joe, I think what you're saying basically is when we talk about Latinos and we talk about Asians and all these other people, we're talking about the immigrant mentality versus the slave mentality. And the immigrant mentality, they see America as a place of prosperity and you know, and just of prosperity, right? Whereas economic prosperity, we see America as a place where we're looking for social justice and equality. Okay, you get that with your prosperity. You can buy some social justice and equality once you have some prosperity.
That's right.
So that's what we got to switch in our minds. Is we are already here, American citizens, all right, and we have all of the tools necessary for us to succeed. We just have to change our minds and decide to succeed with what we have. We can do just like they do, pool resources. As a matter of fact, there was cases of that in Detroit. That's what matters. If you ever get a chance to go to the Motown Museum, that is exactly what Berry Gordy's family did. They came up from Georgia, pooled their money. They had their own family bank, all of that kind of stuff. You had a lot of that going on back in the day because literally we migrated. We were immigrants or migrated within this nation. We migrated out of Jim Crow segregation and slavery, all right, into prosperity, and that's what their family did. It was a hard way that they had to do it, but they got it done.
One of the things that I find disturbing when I look at how I was raised in the environment I was raised in. When you look at the environment today, is really kind of disturbing. What you're seeing today, unless you came up in the 60s, then you don't see this. It looks normal. This looks normal to you. If it wasn't raised. To me, this is like, it's like Twilight Zone. We're living in a Twilight Zone. We're living in we're living in the easiest illusion world ever before. We just did a crazy show about flat Earth that really kind of really made me feel dumb just having a conversation with somebody about the flat Earth. But I fear for my daughter. I fear for my grandbaby coming up in this society where we can now, it was just an article about some school. Some child wants to be a cat, and the school now administrator wants to put kitty litter in the restroom. We're living in a society of strictly illusions, and people are falling for the dumbest shit. And just like the society we're living in now, and like I mentioned earlier, men walking around with their pants hanging down, and some beautiful, nice women are giving them sex. I don't get why, but we're living in a society now where men are not around. Boys are being raised up to be girls. And we have a society of a bunch of punk boys today in our society. Punk boys growing up. I wonder what that's going to look like when they become adults, because it's scary as hell to watch them being raised punks, not really go-getters, not really trying to challenge themselves. They just really arching their, you got young men arching their eyebrows and doing stuff like that. We're living in a different society. We're living in a society that also pushes victimization to make you sure to be a victim based on the color of your skin. They constantly push it in our face. They constantly push movies in our face about slavery. They'll push it in your face. And somehow we think we've been educated, but we don't know we're being indoctrinated. Watching slavery movie is indoctrinating you. It is not educating you. It's not educating on who you are and what you're capable of doing from this day on. It's only got you focusing on something that happened in the past so long ago that you resonate that with hatred and you bring it back into this present life. And I think that's the problem. We're not learning how to move forward from this standpoint. And where do we go? Like we just talked about it. Where do we go from here? To me, boils down to individuals raise the value of themselves. It takes an individual. That's not a collective thing. You can throw money on this collective thing all you want, but you're not going to do nothing if the individual themselves don't want to improve how they see themselves and raise their value. And that plays a role. Turning the TV off, is raising your value. It's saying, I don't want to put that in my brain. Do you know you have a higher value of yourself than the person that refuses to watch it and prefers to watch and listen to things that educate them, opposed to one that doesn't? This one has more value, and it's going to be proven later in life of how their life is going to attract the things that they want because of those values. And I think that's the number one problem. We're walking around with no real value of ourselves.
Absolutely. This is comments that for whatever reason it's not coming over. And also I want to say, I think Kari just gave us the title to the next show right there, because that would be a good topic. And it's funny, we hit on this often throughout all of our shows just about, and I definitely think that that would be a great show. Bring a psychologist on and have a full conversation about victimization. Absolutely. But some of these topics weren't coming through. Richard Whitlock says, you don't have a choice. If you are not a white man, your business is a minority owned business. Exactly. I agree. But here's the thing. It will be that without labeling it that in the forefront. Right. So it will be a minority owned business regardless. Right.
Now here's a good, go ahead, Joe.
Well, here, let me hit these couple other comments here. I'm blacked out. I need an affordable, high quality product, kind of like what I sell. Black is my ethnicity. My professionalism is what defines me. That's Charmaine Cuff there. Like that. Love that. Joseph Reeves Sr. says, if we don't match this definition, we are starting out in the wrong lane. If we can't call someone in Africa and they claim us as their relatives, we are trying to move a vehicle designed to not get far. And this is what he's talking about: Black or African American, a person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. So I guess he's trying to say some of us ain't African American. I guess, I don't know. But
Yo, where are those comments at? I'm not seeing it on here.
They're on my. I shared and tagged 87 people this morning.
Okay.
And so it's coming up there, and so that's why I went ahead and shared this in order to show it.
Gotcha.
But what were you gonna say on this first comment there? Richard Whitlock says you don't have a choice if you are not a white man. Your business is a minority-owned business. I'm assuming that he's just saying that, look, you gonna be a minority-owned business nonetheless if you are not a white man, right? I mean,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. What does minority mean, first of all? And how do you identify yourself? It's extremely important. Like what Johnny J said about how you view yourself is only as far as you can go. So what is a minority? Now let's stop right there and let's just view what the word minority means, and that's as far as I can go. If I view myself as a minority business, yes, you can call me whatever you want, but that doesn't mean I have to accept it in myself. See, you may call me black, but I'm not black. You may say I have a black-owned business. No, I do not have a black-owned business. I have a business. I have a profit-owned business. I don't see myself as a minority-owned business, nor do I function and walk around like a minority-owned business. I could care less of what people think of the color of my skin. I move based upon whatever it is I'm vibrating towards me without even thinking that I have some type of hindrance. When you say you're a minority, you're still into the victim mode. I want you to know that. Understand that's a label that is called out to you. You're a minority. Let's be sorry for you. You're in the minority group. Let's do something for you. I don't claim that. Not saying you shouldn't go after the funding. What I'm saying is that how you view yourself is extremely important. What you go after is another. But I don't view myself as a minority, so I don't have a minority-owned business. But that's the way you will view me because of your limited thinking. See, I don't see myself as a minority. No, I'm above a minority. I'm none of the names nobody calls me. I'm not none of those names. You can't call me ADOS. You can't call me a Moor, Muslim, Black. I'm not none of those names no one labels me with. But that's how you view me in your lens. But that's not how I view myself in my lens. So I don't have a minority.
Which really means that if that's how someone views me or what have you, then they don't know me.
Correct. There's a limitation to it. There's a limitation to minority. Think about it now. Go look up the word minority, and you can't go beyond that. If you believe you're a minority, you're stuck in that box. And that's my point.
You can't go beyond the smaller, or you can't go beyond being the smaller number of or part, especially a number that is less than half the whole number. So you can't get past less than half.
Right.
That's what you are.
As a minority, Dr. Claude Anderson said, never call yourself a minority because minorities in this country are losers.
Right.
Minority rules. Right. So if you think yourself as a minority, now, like I said, there's a difference between a minority business. Okay, if you label your business as a minority business, you're doing that for business reasons because there are tax advantages for that.
Correct.
Right. That's the difference between saying that, oh, I am a minority.
Right.
No. Because to say I'm a minority, you're saying to yourself, I am a loser. No, I'm not no damn loser. Ain't no way in hell. I own a business. How the hell am I a damn loser? You know what I'm saying? So you got to make that distinction.
And this is a very important conversation because we're speaking to business-minded people. We're speaking to people who are listening that are maybe not business-minded, but we're trying to understand how this field works. So I'm just giving an idea on my experience of how I move. I don't move based up on victimization. I didn't get here where I'm at thinking that I'm a victim. And where I came from a prison setting to where I own a company now, wasn't through victimization. I didn't see nothing that I saw that I could not have or do based on who I am as the color of my skin. And so I didn't see myself as a minority, didn't see myself as black. I saw myself as an individual who wants to survive and feed his family. That was it. And whatever I need to do it, I was going to do it. So based on that, I think, again, the minority ideal, yes, you can go get that minority money, but don't view yourself as a minority or view yourself as having a minority business. I think it's a crutch, and I think it limits your growth. I think, again, if you raise your value of who you think you are, I think I have a superb product. I don't think it's a minority product. My product is for everyone. It's not just going in towards certain people. And I think when I view it that way, my business becomes unlimited. And I'm just getting more and more sales, and more people are respecting and loving the products that I put out there, because I don't put that energy in it that is just for black. It's like shea butter. We think of shea butter just for being for black people. And for years, only black people was doing shea butter. Now white people are using shea butter. And you see shea butter in lotions and shit, right? Because it can be shared everywhere. Everyone. Think about this. Think about you having a talent that God gave you. He gave you a talent not for people that look like you, gave you a talent to share to the world. Because why is that? The universe, or this thing called God, made all people, right? So why ain't you tapped into that source instead of being tapped into this neural source? And neural source is not getting you what you need to do on the world market. And that's the piece right there that blocks us.
Exactly. And I feel like, you know, when it comes to that, it's just, we just have this culture, and it is we have buried ourselves as a culture. And when I say we, just remember, when we say this type of stuff, I had to say this the other night on the show. We're talking majority, okay? So we're talking at least 51% of us, you know, have this type of mindset. And actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna say that what gets touted in the public is as if there's a majority of us that have this victim, you know, mentality. You know, I'm not going to say, I don't know the real numbers on that, but it gets touted that there is a majority of us that have this. But I know that when I look around, I see a grand majority. When I look in the hood, when I look at people in the hood, when I look around and I look on social media, I see a majority of us that have this victimization mentality. And
yeah, but think about the Kanye and the Candace Owens thing. Who was mad?
Yeah, exactly. White people ain't mad. Black people mad. Why? Because we get so emotionally caught up in all the wrong things. And what Candace Owens said was specific. She said, y'all getting mad at me about this shirt when the rate of diabetes among black women is as it is. You should be mad at that. You know what I mean? And so I love that point that she was making. Because that's the same point that we make when we say, "Oh, we want to do protests," when we emotionally get caught up with a police beating on television, as if it is the highest amount of police beatings and shootings that happen in the country, and it's not. It's just a higher ratio among us because we're only 14%, right? But we get so emotionally caught up in that when we should be mad that, you know, your family ain't eating nothing but the worst of the worst, and everybody's dealing with the same diseases generation to generation. You should be mad at that. You know what I mean? You should be turning your attention to that. You should be trying to fix that. You know what I mean? And this is just the thing. But mentality is everything, man. And I've had a grand opportunity of being connected to people like you, John, to being connected to people like Leonard, Mishorn, you know, all the people in this type of circle where we have this shift in mindset, and there's no victim mentality involved there. And then for me to be able to pass that on to the people in my circle, and then sit back and watch credit scores going up, you know, businesses being started. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, wow, look at what happens when such positive mindsets are what is infecting the people around you. people begin to change their mindset and look and learn and see spiritual growth, emotional growth, financial growth, and everything else. Aren't these the things that we're all wanting? Aren't these the things that people should really be seeking? Right. You know, to me, that all makes sense. Let's get back to some of these comments real quick. Let's see here. And just remember, those minority, again, you know, and Michon said this before, when you call yourself a minority, those are the things that you're calling yourself. Okay, you're calling yourself small. You're calling yourself a group of people. You're tagging yourself with a group of people that don't matter, honestly. So when you sit there and you continue to use words are important, John, you said it before. It's like witchcraft, damn near, and a lot of things that we say. Why? Because we are putting spells on ourselves. We're speaking things out into the ether because this world is a fucking matrix. Absolutely, beyond the shadow of a doubt. I'm convinced of that. And we speak these things out into the matrix, and then we get the energy of that comes back. So if you want bullshit to happen, then keep speaking in bullshit terminology, and bullshit will always happen to you. Johnny J says, yeah, get Joe Dispenza or Bruce Lipton and Jewel Pookrum for that victimization show. That would be dope as a motherfucker. I can tell you that right now to get any of them. Joe, he looks up form numbers and stuff like that. So SF181, I'm pretty sure that's a form number in attached to what he was saying.
That's for the color. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Black is a class of rights, not a complexion. Think about that. When Massa said black versus white, he was dividing the slave class, the working class versus the elite. Am I right on that, Leonard?
Yeah.
He was creating the inferior to the one that is dominant.
The inferior versus the superiority complex.
That's exactly what doing.
Right there.
An inferior, you accept the inferior complex when you call yourself a minority black. You accepting the inferior complex when you call yourself those names that he created for you to set in that box. This is what
everything. In that chaos, yeah, because at the end of the day, in the larger grand scheme of things, and you know, me and Michon talk about this a lot, about Bacon's Rebellion, where you had slaves of African descent, slaves of European descent, all fighting against slave masters that were European, right? So what they realized right then and there is that, you know, we have to be able to divide the masses because we'll never, ever, ever be larger than the masses. And if the masses have unity, if they can put all of their stuff aside and look at our bullshit and look at how we're screwing them over and realize, hey, we're being screwed over despite what culture, what race, what religion, whatever we are. All right, we're getting screwed over by this small group of people, and we want to take what's ours, or we want our opportunity. We want, you know, our prosperity, right? That's going to be a bad thing for them. All right. See, so all of these things that we have are meant to create division, right? Division amongst the masses, to make the masses turn inwardly on each other and continue to fight each other. Like I said, is the lack of unity. This is why people say, you know, just like gas prices or anything, you get tired of the prices of gas being so high, don't buy gas for a week. Don't go nowhere for a week. If everybody did that, but you won't get everybody to do that because we don't have that type of unity. See, so there you have it.
Look, I want to hit some more of these comments. The case studies on the Neurological Letters website that have been studied on the brain connection that keeps many blacks stuck is amazing. Everyone should start studying neurological and the brain. Joseph Reeves says, still moving with bad information. Stop. Get the truth by unlearning all of the skewed definitions offered by society and focus on the definition provided on the government documents, which predetermine the place or value given to each individual at birth. I'm trying to decipher that right there. Brother Joe, you're going to have to come back with some more info, or you're going to have to come on right now and speak to that. Kari Muhammad says there's also a lot of stigmas that come with being labeled BOB, that may not even be a character of one's business. Well, just think about the stigma of what comes with black as you walk into a room in general. The prices are too high, business hours not consistent, bad customer service, etc. Man, oh man. And the thing about it is those stigmas right there, where do they come from the most? They come from us. We're the ones that give our own minority businesses, black-owned businesses, those stigmas. I ain't never heard too many white people sit there and talk about how black businesses is this, that, and the other. Because I mean, they're not even using that terminology for real.
Okay, so is that an unfair claim that we did that, or is some validation behind some of that statement?
There's some validation if we're gonna be honest.
There's some validation behind it, but I put it this way, and this is how, and I don't know how to translate this properly from my brain to speech, but if you looking at tire companies, right? Tire shops. Let's say in the minority sector, there's 10 of them, but we're only 14%, right, in this country. So let's say there's 10, and then in the European white owned whatever sector or other than black owned sector, there is 100 of them. Well, if 10% are bad with that terrible stigma in the black owned, well, hell, that right there, you're gonna run into more of that if you're only searching within the black owned area. Whereas if 10% of this 100 is bad over here, you know, there's more of their businesses out there. Therefore, you're not gonna run into as many of the bad ones as you would over here, right? So, in my mind, I'm thinking, yes, it's a bad stigma, but it's a bad stigma. But there may not be as many bad ones in the black sector versus in the other sector. You know, there may be more in the other sector, but if we running into that into the black one, and plus we got this fuck you mentality anyway. So when we go into a white establishment and we don't get treated properly, we just say fuck you and leave. Whereas when we go into a black establishment, we want to talk to the manager, we want to talk to, and then we want to go on social media, we want to talk everything about it. We don't give it the same energy as the fuck you energy that we gave to the white establishment. No, we'll sit there and walk away and continue to let the next person deal with that same bullshit. I'm the type of MFer who will sit there and say, hey, if it don't matter who, black, white, yellow, blue, if you're not treating me properly because of who I know that I am and believe how I am and what I am, then you're going to get the business regardless. But here's the thing. I don't carry myself in such a manner as to where people want to treat me wrong. Therefore, when I walk into places, I don't deal with that type of BS. Right, so I don't know. Again, it goes to a whole mentality. There's one last comment here, well, a few other comments, but Pops, he spoke up just the same on this other page, and he says, if a black author puts their picture on the cover of their book, it's probably going in the section with black authors. Without the picture, it will get mainstream.
Right.
Another thought there as well. You know, people started putting pictures on their resumes and their business cards. I almost did that with the resume. And I said, nah, let me not do that. And I went ahead and, you know, I didn't get into none of that with the business cards, putting pictures and stuff on there because, you know, I don't need anybody judging me before the fact. I need them to judge me on merit, you know, more than anything else. Let's see. Who else here? Kari Muhammad. He says there's a lot of stigmas that come with being labeled B.O.B. that may not be a character of one's business. Yep. Went there. Brother Leonard, John Yah, and you, Joe, have all broken it down in an awesome way. Disregard my last statement. All good. I know, right? Leonard, I know, right? Because we don't hear Joe retract anything that often. You know what I mean? When did the Europeans grow in population past the numbers of melanated people?
They didn't. They never have. Not on the world scale. But I'm gonna say this: is when it comes to our businesses or businesses ran by our people that offer there, because there's an art to customer service. It just is, right? And when it comes to our businesses, and because I've had to do this, right? Is instead of, like you said, Joe, is instead of just going off and I want to see the manager and then, read them the riot act and all that, we have to make those teachable moments, right? We have to make them teachable moments. People that know, all right, customer service and things like that, say, listen, okay, here's what your business has done. And I'm saying this not because I'm angry and I want to tell you about yourself. I'm saying this because I really want to support your business and I want your business to do better. Your business is vital to our community. Okay. It provides a needed service. Therefore, we want it to stay around. You hire our people. So let's make this business a better business. And this is how we have to do it. So we got to make these things teachable moments. I had to do that at a restaurant one time. I'm like, listen, hey, I'm a customer here. There's no reason in the world why you should be getting my order that long. Okay, especially when ain't nobody around. It's not a very few people. So, and I talked to the manager. The manager did the right thing. She said, how do I make this right? I said, you make it right by getting my order, but then slow down and just get the orders right. A few seconds is not going to hurt nobody, right? Especially if it's busy, if it's not busy. It's not going to hurt nobody, and that keeps people coming back to your business. See, so that's what we got to do is do that. I think brothers like you, Joe, like you, John, some of these others, we live in a desert. We have all types of deserts. We have to be the oases in these deserts, okay, to turn these deserts around. I mean, economic, educational, health, all of it, right? All of these types of things. I mean, we have to be the oases in these deserts to help turn within our communities, to help turn these things around and to make these things better.
Absolutely. And even with the conversation of that I said someone named El Tata was having
El Tata
was having and he got me commenting back and forth with him on that. But even with that conversation, one of the things that I'm mentioning is the fact that one of our biggest issues when it comes to a lot of this conversation is our inability to tighten up to meet criteria needed to get funding and things of that nature, and to perpetuate a professional business acumen to the public in order to continue to receive good business. We don't tighten up to that point. So then what happens is, okay, we go out, we try to get minority funding. They tell us we need to do this, that, and the other. And then we don't do this, that, and the other, or we maybe we got issues with felonies, this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. And so then we say, fuck it. And then we say, those people over there, they don't really give money to black people, minorities. And we villainize this, that, and the other because we ourselves personally didn't meet that criteria or what have you. Well, guess what? Do like the foreigners do. Go get somebody within your circle and tighten that person up. If they don't have those same felonies or issues or whatever, then tighten that person up and put them out there in order to get the funding, and then y'all pool that money together and make that business work. I mean, there's plenty of ways to do it if, in fact, you really want to, and that's all I'm trying to say when it comes to that. And when it comes to, labeling, like I said, I'm all about it on paper to gain funding and things of that nature, because if the money's there, hey, let's go get it. But, I'm not about to put no BOB stickers nowhere. It's not happening. You know, people will know it as such when I walk in the room and shake hands. You know, they'll understand that. So, you know, couple things here. Last comments. Lastly, for me, I start the litigation/negotiation process Thursday for taking possession of my first bank. Please send positive vibes. Hey, all about it. Definitely. Hey, go for it, bruh. Maybe then we can go for that last business move that we were supposed to do. Let's see. High word of advice for people starting a fresh business. Stay the course and be by yourself to focus. Read books and develop your character and gain self-knowledge. Take off. Man, to add to that, you can never spend too much time focusing on your business. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any last words before we get out of here, brothers? Brother John?
Yeah, so, you know, what this kind of boils down to when we're talking about these words that we use and labeling the business, I think this: if you're starting out the gate and you're starting out the gate with the victim, then you may want to put black on, and then what you're doing is you automatically starting out the gate wrong. For me to understand business and to be able to properly teach it, I'd have to tell those who are interested in business, you're going to have to do some studying and studying your craft, whatever it is, business that you're getting into. Study others who have had businesses like this. Study the ones who have failed and study the ones who have succeeded. Starting a business is not easy. I'm never gonna act like it's easy to get the tax ID. It's easy to get the things you need to get started, but you really need to do some diligent reading, studying sales, studying your market, studying the product that you have, studying your potential market, who's your target market. It's a lot to it. At the same time, you have to have a certain mindset, and you should look at yourself as a superior opposed to an inferior person when you're going into business. Or just use this whole concept of who you think of yourself all the way down the line, and it helps you out. So in other words, if I view my life as success, regardless of where I am in the conditions that I'm in, if I start visualizing my success right now, I can project that success in the future. So now, do I visualize my downside? Do I visualize my failures, my blocks? Do I visualize the obstacles? You see, if I visualize, well, I'm black, well, they're not going to let me have this because I'm black, then you ain't even got out the gate. You have to visualize yourself being somewhere that there's no obstacles that will stopping you from getting there. It helps the dreams become unlimited. Those dreams will automatically catapult you into a character of yourself. In other words, if you think high of yourself, you're going to act high. You're going to act like that behavior of who you are. And if you think you're a businessman, think highly of yourself. When you imagine, it's all about the imagination. Everything you look at and everything you look around you from everybody's products derived from someone's imagination. So again, when I say that everyone has an ingenious level of talent to offer to humanity, you have one, but one of the issues that we have mostly is the distractions, not why we're separate collectively. No, separate individually. If you don't have a certain focus, and the reason you don't have that focus or can't keep the focus is because other things distracting you. That means that you are divided inside yourself. Forget the community. See, I'm not into teaching and talking about what the community is doing collectively. I'm into teaching and talking about what you are doing individually. How have you collected all of your thoughts in one realm? So in other words, if you have multiple goals or you have certain things you want to do, you should choose one goal. The one goal that you can choose that will help you achieve all the other goals, but have a focus on one goal first. If you're starting to reach for too many things and you are too easy to go over here and invest, somebody say something, you go over and invest, you will never get to the focus of your one goal and you will never complete it. One of the problems that we have is that we don't have a goal. If I'll use the word, ask the person, where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want in 5 years? How do you see yourself in 5 years? I had a young man that works for me say one time, I said, where do you want to be in 5 years? He said, I want to control the world. I want to own the world. I said, that's vague. What does that look like, controlling the world? Are you sitting on a throne? Are you talking to Putin and talking to these other leaders? What does that look like? So you got to have a vision. And how does that look? Do you see yourself operating in whatever it is you want in life? You see yourself driving a new car? You see yourself walking into a new home? Do you see yourself owning a new business? First, you have to envision. You have to visualize it and not allow things to distract you. What is that doing to you? It's improving your value. From the very first conversation we was having, you have a low value if you see yourself as a minority. Your value's low. You see yourself as black. Your value's low. So you have to raise your value above that. And I guarantee you, the reaction you will get is the universe magnetizing that what you think. As she was mentioned about, there's this book I'm studying called Personal Magnetism. It's very interesting. And it's very close to a lot of the mindsets that Johnny was just speaking about. We're dealing with Dr. Pookrum and Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton. We're talking mindsets of how you think of yourself is what you see in front of you. What you think of yourself is how other people treat you. I want you to pay attention to that. Someone treats you low, apparently you sent that vibration out in order to get that mistreatment. Think about it now. You must think about how you view yourself first, not what other people view you as. How do you view yourself? And then portray that outwardly and watch people treat you just like that. So again, focus on yourself. Stop being distracted. Get you a goal and work on that goal every day, even if it's 20 minutes working on that goal. I guarantee you, you're going to feel successful at the end of the day as you get closer and closer to your goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You heard it right there. The preaching of John Yah. Brother Walker, is any last words before we bounce, bro?
Right quick, like I said before, be an oasis in the desert. If more of us become oasis, then we can change the land.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, the only thing I'm gonna say is a lot of us need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
That's the shit that I'm saying. You need to wake the fuck up, man. And you know, you sitting there continually doing the same thing over and over, acting like shit gonna change, bro. You're absolutely insane to continue thinking that, you know. It's okay. I want to tell some people, you know, and I had this in my heart yesterday. I didn't post it, but it's okay to fucking grow up. Okay. It's okay. All right. It's okay to mature. It's okay to get to a point in your life to where you're fed up with the bullshit around you, the lack of money, the lack of intelligent conversation, the lack of health and wellness in your life. It's okay to get fed up with that and move in a different direction. Them people that's sitting over there that are crabs in a barrel that you continue to enlighten or indulge in, those people, fuck them. Okay? Fuck them. I don't care who it is. If it's your family or whatever, fuck them. And focus on making your life better. All right? It's okay to grow. That's what that is. That's called growth. That's called maturity. And it's fucking okay. All right? So, there it is. There you have it. Until next week, brothers, I appreciate you, Leonard. Always great to have you joining in on Conversations, brother. John, man, you've been a blessing, absolutely, for every all the time that I've known you, brother. And what's funny is I can sit and look at commentary from time to time from other people around us in our circle that are mutual friends and such, and see your influence just the same. And I'm appreciative to have you, Leonard, me, Sean, all of y'all, you know, brothers. Everybody brings a different perspective, but it's all geared towards a forward movement, a better life, and a greater quality mindset. So I appreciate it. Absolutely.
All righty.
Next week, y'all. We'll see you.
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeh. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
you.